Hey, welcome back. I hope you're having a fantastic day and that you are enjoying our first year teacher series within the First Year Teacher Support Facebook group. If you haven't checked it out yet, I've been going live every single Sunday. Yep, you heard that right. I've been going live every single Sunday at 4 p.m., going through different tips, tricks, and strategies that teachers just like you have been asking me to cover. If you haven't joined the group yet, all you have to do is head to northdakotateaching.com/Facebook and you'll be able to join the group. Over the next few weeks on this podcast, we are going to be featuring tips for student teachers. So if you are a student teacher or you know a student teacher, of course, you are right where you are meant to be. Of course, all are welcome here, and I know that the tips we're going to be sharing will also work for wherever you are in your teaching journey. So with that, I will see you inside of today's show.
Welcome to the North Dakota Teaching Podcast. Whether you're a first-year teacher, veteran teacher, or just a mom trying to gain some new insights, you are right where you are meant to be. Kayla Durkin, founder of the Blossoming Teacher course, is passionate about helping new teachers blossom into the teacher they were born to be. Kayla wants to help inspire teachers to be their best self, whether that means sharing about personal or professional development, self-care, or the latest and most effective teaching strategies. Through this podcast, you will hear from real teachers sharing their stories about teaching, all with one main goal in mind: to be able to make an impact and help other teachers blossom. And with that, here is your host, Kayla Durkin.
Hey, I'm so happy that you're here and that you're joining us again today. If you don't already know it, this is truly one of the most exciting times in your educational life. During this season, you are more than likely filled with anticipation and excitement about what is next to come for you. You've heard it before and you'll hear it again and again and again, but becoming a teacher is one of the most rewarding and fulfilling things that a person can do. However, it's okay to be nervous, worried, anxious, or even scared. I mean, come on. If being responsible for 25 tiny humans doesn't scare you even just a little bit, then you must be a superhero. If you're reading this, though, I'm going to assume that you have a few nerves and you're looking for just a boost of reassurance and direction. That's a good thing. In my opinion, if you're not nervous, it must not be that important to you. I want you to know, though, that I'm here for you. I'm here to help you, I'm here to offer advice, and I'm here even just to listen. Being a student teacher is hard. However, over the next few weeks and months, you are going to be going through one of the most exhilarating, challenging, rewarding, encouraging, and fastest times of your life. One day, you're meeting your first group of students, and before you know it, you're sending them off into the next grade and you're preparing for interviews and even your first class of your own. Through it all, just know that you are right where you are meant to be. I can't wait to watch you learn and grow and blossom into the teacher that you were born to be. So, with that, I have a few pieces of advice that I want to share with my new teachers in training. The first tip that I have for you is to get organized. All student teaching experiences are different, but I know that there is one thing that all student teachers can agree on. It helps to be organized. Set up systems for yourself that are going to help you stay on top of things. Keep your notes straight, file important papers, mark important dates. I think you get the point. If you already know me, you know that there are two things that I'm a firm believer in: binders and digital calendars. You're going to need to get yourself a binder and organize it into sections. If you aren't sure about what to put into a student teaching binder, no worries, I got you. I actually have student teacher binder templates that you can grab at ndteaching.com/binder. This binder is going to house a ton of important information, so you do need to be sure that you're keeping it in a safe space at all times. You're going to want to take it with you every single day if you're student teaching in person, or if you're not in person and you're student teaching virtually, you're going to want to have it accessible throughout the day. Another thing you might know about me is that I live for digital calendars. If you're not already using one, you're going to want to set one up ASAP. If you're new here, you probably haven't heard, but I'm obsessed with Google Calendar. I prefer Google Calendar because it syncs with everything, but Microsoft's online calendar is another great option. When you set up your digital calendar, it's important that you turn the notifications on. I know, I know, nobody likes getting a million notifications, but trust me, you'll want these ones. You're going to use your new digital calendar to keep track of all important dates, meetings, events. I know paper calendars are great, but your mind is going to be filled with so many things that you're trying to remember. So you're going to want to use your digital calendar to set reminders for you. You can get these reminders up to an hour before, a half hour before, or 10 minutes before, whatever works for you. No more forgetting that you have an IEP after school or that you have recess duty. You can give your brain a little bit of a break and let your calendar do the remembering for you. Anything that you want to be reminded of needs to be put into your Google Calendar. Having a girls' night next weekend? Add it to the calendar. Going to see your grandma after school on Tuesday? Add it to your calendar. Whether it's a dentist appointment, a college paper that's due, an application deadline, or any other significant event in your life, it needs to go into your calendar. Once upon a time, my friend even used her calendar to track the outfits she wore during student teaching to be sure that she wasn't wearing the same thing too often. Now, I'm definitely not asking you to be that level of crazy. However, forming good habits about time management now is going to be your saving grace when you're a first year teacher trying to keep track of all the things. Seriously, though, there's nothing worse than double booking yourself and having to explain to one person or the other why you need to bail on an event, why you forgot to bring your dessert to the potluck, why you showed up late. You get the point. If you know exactly where you need to be and when, you'll feel so much more planned, prepared, and ready to take on whatever your day or week has for you. If I still haven't convinced you that you need to be using a digital calendar, you can also head to my blog. I do have a blog post about this as well. Tip number 2 is all about being a role model. If you want to stand out amongst the rest and get a rocking student teacher letter of recommendation at the end of your student teaching experience, you need to do some things that are going to help you stand out. But, friends, if you're listening, I know that when we get to the professional world, this can be a touchy subject. I'm almost willing to bet that there has been a time in your life when someone has told you how to act or what to wear. And I'm guessing at least once in your life, the conversation didn't go so well because it absolutely wasn't what you wanted to hear. Because of that, I'm going to keep this very straightforward. Of course, I want you to be who you are and express yourself in a way that represents your truest you. However, you're now a role model for students who are paying attention to absolutely every single thing that you do, from the way you talk, the way you dress, and the way you look. Watch out! If you wear the same color scrunchie 3 days in a row, your students will surely comment on that. Do you have a tattoo on your arm that pops out when you reach your arms too high? I bet your students will notice that on day one. Don't worry though, I'm not knocking on tattoos. I have one on my wrist as well. My point is, make sure you're wearing appropriate clothing, bathing regularly, and please use some dry shampoo if you do not want to wash your hair every day. Nobody wants to see your day 2, day 3, or even your day 4 greasy hair. I promise. And as always, when talking to students, staff, admin, parents, or any other person that you interact with throughout the day, be sure to keep your conversations positive and professional. This alone will make you stand out amongst the rest and help you get that rocking student teacher letter of recommendation that I know you've been dreaming of for years. All right, friends, I know that tip 3 is another one that you don't want to hear. You probably don't even want to hear me say it, but it's time to clean up your social media. I know you've heard it before, and trust me, you're going to hear it again, but it's time to delete those crazy college pics. I'm sure you can envision what I'm talking about, and if you don't have any pictures like that on your social media, seriously, good for you. But if you do, I absolutely understand that those are the nights you never want to forget. However, your future principal absolutely positively does not want to see how wild and crazy you once were, or maybe even still are, when they're trying to choose between hiring you and another candidate. And don't worry if you're thinking, but don't they want to hire someone who's fun? Well, yeah, they absolutely do. but there are so many other ways to show that you're a fun person to be around. So do us all a favor and upload those photos to the cloud or put them on a hard drive. Going forward, be selective about what you share and what you let people tag you in. Avoid pictures, quotes, and comments that might cause people to question your character. Avoid social media arguments like the plague. Or I guess we could just say avoid them like the COVID. Just kidding. I mean, kind of, but not really. Take time to update the privacy settings on your social media. Go through your posts from your Instagram, your Visco, your TikTok, whatever. If there's anything that you would be embarrassed about a student seeing, you need to take it down. Remember, that doesn't mean that it's permanently deleted, but hopefully it won't resurface and reach the public eye. Anyway, believe it or not, if your cooperating teacher hasn't already looked you up on social media, I'm sure your students have, and I can guarantee that if there is anything inappropriate on your social media, a parent will be bringing it to your admin's attention, and that will definitely not be good when it comes to receiving a letter of recommendation. The biggest thing to remember here is that yes, you're allowed and entitled to a life outside of school, but just like your mother would say, make good choices. Not everything needs to be posted on social media. And this is something that you're going to have to practice now for, honestly, the rest of your life. I know that teachers are allowed to have lives outside of school, but I also know that teachers are held to a different standard than most of society. We need to remember that we truly are role models, not just now, but always, and that we need to be filtering the things that we're posting. Even if it does seem really funny, it might be really offensive or it might just be inappropriate. So, the question I have for you now is, are you enjoying these tips? Because guess what? These are the tips that I've been mentioning in the past few podcast episodes. These are my 10 tips for student teachers that you can grab down below. If you'd like to read the other 7 tips, all you have to do is go to ndteaching.com/student teacher, and these tips will arrive straight to you in your inbox. Before we go today though, friends, I do truly want you to know that I'm here to help you and I'm here to support you however I absolutely can. And I am just going to ask of you, if you have been listening to this podcast on a daily basis, if you do enjoy these episodes, would you please consider leaving a review down below? If you're new here, you might realize we don't really have any reviews and we want other teachers to be able to find this. So do me a favor and leave us a review down below. You have no idea how much it will mean to me. So thank you again so much for being here. Don't forget to head to ndteaching.com/student teacher so that you can grab your other 7 tips. And with that, I will see you next time. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the North Dakota Teaching Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate that effort. Be sure to tune in to the next episode for more teaching tips to make an impact. Until next time.